Hello, welcome to my Matrix Resurrections. I want to say review, but it's more like my thoughts. I've seen of course, I've seen all the Matrix movies. Matrix Reloaded, Matrix Resolutions, and now Matrix Resurrections. I've also seen the reviews for Matrix Resurrections, and a lot of people are upset and unhappy. They're expecting a sci-fi action film, and what they got was more of a toned down. I don't even say drama, but it wasn't that much action. And then the action that was in it was, to me, the same as it was in the original films, which people were expecting, thanks to Marvel, the action to be updated, for today's, expectations. So the Matrix, Resurrections, it delves into, what do you call it? Psychology. It's always been a philosophically based franchise, maybe even theology, put theology in there. And the movie itself even tells you, hey, this isn't going to be the Matrix that you knew. It's going to be a different story. And as the story progresses, it's talking more about emotions and feelings, and which is taboo these days. And it's talking about depression. It's talking about just a satire about society today, the norms, the expectations, media, movies, video games, all that good stuff. And for me personally, it's like I feel what they're trying to say. It's like you have all these reboots, Ghostbusters, all these multitudes of reboots. It's like every odd month there's a reboot or something. And now they even talking about rebooting Spider-Man. It's like you have a reboot within a reboot. So it's like everything's an extended universe. There's no new ideas. Everybody's recycling the same ideas. And it's just flooding the market with the same, I want to say, malarkey. And there's nothing fresh and there's nothing innovative. And they complain about this Matrix not innovating anything when the franchise is known for its innovation. Because once the original Matrix was released, everybody was biting the bullet time, the slow-mo, the angles, the camera shots. Even some movies bite the tint of the film, that green tint that the Matrix was known for. But everybody's complaining about it. And the people that's complaining about it are basically your atypical people that they want gratuitous violence. They want these sharp camera angles and set pieces and all this technical jargon of filmmaking. And it's like, watch the movie and try to understand where the director, the writer is coming from. I mean, in interviews, the director was like, hey, I was going through some shit when I made the first Matrix. I'm going through some shit now that I made this Matrix. The Matrix made money. Of course, the studios want to make money. So it's like they left it open-ended to where the studio could have what it wanted, and she could walk away from the fucking project and just hand her life's work over to, sharks, essentially, that are probably gonna make spin-offs and fucking all kinds of stuff from just this one film. So as much as people complain about, yeah, this Matrix isn't the Matrix that I'm used to, they did a horrible job. It's all this woke and blah blah blah. It's like, look at who wrote it. Were you expecting anything to be less woke from somebody who's a part of the LGBTQ community? First of all, if you have a problem with that community or woke or whatever, why would you even sit down to watch the film? They don't, it's like people are ignorant and stupid and they roll around in their own filth and they enjoy it. And it's like, unless it's gratuitous violence and or sex or all the fucking above, sorry, can't curse on here. I need to try to tone that down, but it's like, people aren't happy. Why do people like Spider-Man and people don't like The Matrix? Spider-Man had drama, it had action, the storytelling was good, the plot was good, and it was, more or less what people come to expect from a Marvel movie. And it's like, people were praising it because it's like, hey, this is Spider-Man. No, we want to see someone suffer. We want to see someone go through it. We want to see someone broken down and, angry and losing and not being all cheerful and happy. And they want to see people miserable. They want to, they can relate to misery. They can relate to depression. They can relate to all these negative emotions. Spider-Man's our guys because he has all these negative emotions, and it communicates to me that it's okay that I have these emotions too. And okay. And I'm not an expert on Spider-Man. I'm just saying, like, for example. But The Matrix has a more, Neo starts off depressed, not knowing himself. Well, that doesn't make sense because he was the one in the original movies. Well, okay, unless you want a fresh, a fresh face character, people would have ride it if Keanu Reeves didn't sign on to it. And typically Keanu Reeves doesn't do bad movies, first of all. So if he even signed on to it, it's not like they threw money at him. I mean, he liked what he saw. So I mean, have a little faith, or maybe people just get off on complaining about stuff. Keanu Reeves is Jesus Christ. That's a joke, by the way. I'm just saying. But yeah, it's just it irritates me that people have so much to say when they don't have a creative bone in their body, and then they have the right to judge someone else's art. They feel entitled to their judgments. But then again, people make money, careers off of being a critic. So it's understandable to a degree. But it's just annoying that, okay, I enjoyed this film. To me, I mean, it was The Matrix. It was a new chapter of an ongoing story because everybody wanted to know what happened to Neo at the end of The Matrix, the symbolism, the theories, and all this other stuff. And now those questions have been validated or debunked or whatever. And now there's a whole new set of questions, to be asked of where do we go from here? Because now you don't have just Neo, you have multiple people with the power or the inclination or the one or whatever. Not trying to spoil the movie, but essentially the first Matrix was like, you can be the one if you've met certain criteria. This movie just expands on that notion. Everyone's the one. Everyone has the power, as long as you're in control of your own destiny. No one can tell you that you're the one. You just know. No one can tell you you're in love. You just know. No one can tell you, it's about your personal power, taking your power back. It's really a motivation. It's really a motivating movie. The Matrix has always been motivating. It challenges you to get out of whatever pit of despair you're in and challenge the fucking system. People want to be rebels, storm capitals, but they're still sheep. It's so funny. It was a system in the Matrix in the movie, this past movie, called bots and swarm program, I think is what he said. And it's just like real life when you watch the news, or even in the comments on YouTube or wherever you have comments, people, you get one negative comment and then there's a whole thread of negative comments, just for the sake of being negative. Maybe the problem with the Matrix isn't that it's a bad movie. It's just it makes you feel bad because you look around and you realize that you've been asleep. That's why people complain about being woke, because they want to be a blue pill. Everybody wants to be red pill because it sounds cool, but really, there's a bunch of blue pill motherfuckers walking around here. And the people that are actually red pill, you want to ostracize them, chastise them, be like everybody else. The nail that sticks out gets hammered first, type of mentality, just tribalism. If you're not a part of my group, then you're the enemy. We don't trust you. Different is bad and wrong. Nobody can be themselves. If you LGBTQRSYZ, it's like, if you're not a part of our group, you're wrong. If you're a part of whatever group, you're not a part of my group, you're fucking wrong. Get in step. But the Matrix to me is just the Matrix. It's always been the Matrix. It'll always be the Matrix. And whoever wrote it, the Lana Wachowski, whoever her name was, it's like hats off to her, because it's like she was ingenious. Everybody wants to talk about Deadpool, how Deadpool breaks the fourth wall. Like, she broke all kinds of walls. Like, she wrote in the movie, you're gonna talk shit about this movie for these reasons. And what do we have? Everybody talking shit about the movie for those reasons. She already knew. So she said what she had to say, dropped the mic and walked out. To me, she's walking away from the franchise, and Warner Brothers is gonna take it and rape it, and they're gonna shove the Matrix down our fucking throats. They're gonna have spin-offs, they're gonna have cartoons, TV series, all this stuff, and they're gonna give you everything you want, but it's gonna be the bastardized version of the original message and the original story, just so you people can go back to sleep and sleep comfortably. Yeah, wow. Like, when I watched it, it was just like, wow. It was like, this is amazing. And I'm not saying this, it's a classic, it's an instant classic. I'm just saying I took it for what it was. I watched the same movie y'all watched, and a lot of people were upset by it, but I'm just like, I didn't see no fault in it. As in, yeah, it's not perfect. It's parts of the movies are a little wonky, couple plot holes here and there. I'm not, in the industry, so I can't tell you about camera angles and the technical jargon about this and that and blah, blah, blah. I just sat down with my food, watched the movie, and was entertained. And it's rare that I can watch a movie more than once, and still be entertained. Trying to find all the ins and outs. A movie that makes you think. People say, well, I didn't like it, and it's, and like, nah, bro, it's like, listen to the dialogue. People don't know how to listen no more. Listen to what they're saying. There's all kinds of problems that, they say, well, it doesn't make sense because Neo was supposed to stop the war and bring peace. Well, he did. They tell you he did. But at the same time, just because there's a peace, that wasn't necessarily means it was going to be a lasting peace. The whole fucking problem to begin with was the system of the one was just another system of control. So being the one really didn't mean anything. So when he broke out of that loop, that iteration, you know, he broke it. He broke the system. Then they remade the system, a brand new system, a brand new matrix, brand new architect, you know. And then now the story can essentially go anywhere, anywhere. You know, so you got Neo and Trinity are still the OG cast. You got a whole brand new cast. You know, they recast the Smith program. But you still have issues within the simulation. You know, and they haven't even touched on the machine aspect of it yet. And to me, once they start expanding the lore to include the machines, that's going to be a whole another can of worms. I mean, the Matrix could essentially become the new Star Wars, with all the media and the stories, the lore, that could spawn, from this franchise. But people keep complaining. People keep making money off of it from being negative, and the movie even touched on that. It's like, hey, we tried to make you happy at first, but then we found that we make you miserable. You generate more. You produce more when you're miserable, when you're negative, than when you're positive. So we try to keep you upset. And here it is. People are upset. People are angry. They're producing. The movie is so freaking. At least Mrs. Wachowski's mind is just so different. It's beautiful. You know what I'm saying? So I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. So yeah, that's my take. That's my take on the film.